milestone like that?
Just the expanse of an incredible career from coming into a rookie to a rise to stardom and captaincy and Stanley Cups, gold medals, world championships. And then, you almost become a rookie again. As the older that you get, you got to go to the rink every day and prove you can do it and grind out practice just as hard as you play to prove that you can do it. Really watching that, you just can't do that without an incredible love for the game, love to play hockey. I mean, he works hard every day in practice. He does all the right things. And he doesn't need it anymore, right, except he loves the game. And that is such a wonderful thing for our young players, and not even young players, for our old coaches to see that the love of the game by somebody who's had an incredibly full career. And just so, I guess there's a little bit of good hockey karma here, right, that it would be 1,300, unusual milestone against Carolina with his two brothers. I think they've earned that karma for sure.
Looking at the guys, do you feel a little extra just jump from them, given that they know they're settling in here for a bit at home? I think 6 or 7.
I'm going to answer that question 10 minutes into the first. It's always, that's the one that keeps you up. Off the road trip, off the West Coast, the first game. We'll get rested right and ready. I'm not worried about the homestand at all, about how we'll play. But the first 10 minutes today is going to make you nervous. We got to come out. And some of it is the style of game that I know the Carolina's going to play, right? The gap and their sticks are just, that's what makes them so very good. So we got to be ready to go tonight here and give ourselves a chance to get off on the right foot at home.
Every game in the NHL we know was.
Yeah. But nobody's tempting fate and karma, right? Nobody's messing with that, right? Go ahead.
Your next stretch, though, 9 out of 10 playoff teams is pretty rough. The only team that you're playing that wasn't a playoff team last year was Columbus.
Right.
You guys, is this an exciting time to see where you guys stand?
Sure.
Or is it just too early to even think that stuff?
I don't know, because a big chunk of the teams that we played up to now weren't in the playoffs last year, but they're in the playoffs now, right? And they're pretty good teams, and whether they're going to finish there, all of those teams come out with their most energy at the start of the year, right? They're all jacked up. So I don't know that it's any easier playoff teams or not playoff teams. I know that you'll have some veteran teams come in that aren't where they want to be, and you're going to get them more focused. So that'll be a challenge, but health is a big part. I think we're going to get Aaron back here by the weekend. It's such an important piece to this. Get Matthew back. I think Patrick Hornquist maybe rounding into it right around the same time as all of them. So we should be able to get healthy at the start of a homestand. And you do need, when the other team has the kind of depth that playoff teams have, you do need to have your roster as close as possible.
Night to night.
Yeah.
16 different players. Oh, sorry, I don't know if you were going to say more on night.
That's usually all we get on that.
What's the question? Now he's lost it.
16 different players with the goal, 4 with 10-plus points. What can be said of the value of depth scoring?
I would say, well, it's critical, because if you can shut one line down and not worry about the rest of the team, you can be really effective. I think more than depth, it's confidence. Everybody wants to get off to a good start, right? They've had their summer, they worked hard, and this is going to be the year they break through. And we had a few players, waiting for their first goal, guys that we would expect to score. But if you can spread it around, the more people that you have confident, those guys come to the rink tonight thinking, hey, there's a chance, I'm going to score. Some nights when it's not going for you, the guy's driving to the rink going, man, I haven't scored in 5 games. I got no chance of scoring. It's just the negative roll that you can get around. The more guys you have on a slightly positive roll, the more confidence they have they can score.
And then going back to Eric Staal for a second, and you touched on it a little bit, but what can be said of his perseverance, especially last year being away from this league, although other opportunities presented?
Yeah, I go back to Eric has been incredibly consistent as a human, as a man, in my experience with him. Always worked very hard, exceptionally kind to the people around him, very respectful of his parents, the game, but very driven, like very intense about things. And to watch him kind of mature, he was always a very mature man, just the experience that gets added to it, that he still wants to play. And I can tell you, it's for all the right reasons here. He just loves being at the rink, the routine of the NHL. And he's willing, right from the start, he says, I just want to help this team win a Stanley Cup. whatever role I can. I don't care. I just want to help you guys win. He's an honest man. That's what's driving him now. It's just fun to be around.
You expounded on this a little bit post-game the other night, but Reinhardt back with Lundell was obvious last year. I mean, you wanted to try some new things, but it seemed like from the start, they were right back.
Right. And there's no messing around with that at some point. So Reinhardt and Barkov started the year. It makes a lot of sense, Reinhardt and Barkov.
Natural sense, almost.
Right. Except it hasn't worked yet. Now, I still believe it can because Rhino had so many good chances that he didn't finish it there. But you're right. Those two guys got together, and all of a sudden they're both faster. So I'm not going to mess around with it a whole lot. There's some chemistry there. I'll find somebody to play on the wing. There'll be injuries over the course of the year. We'll try different lines, but it's there, and you can see it, and it was instant. Right from the next practice, they're happy with each other. They know how to play with each other. They'll continually to grow a game. We find the right left winger, and then I think they can be. They're both so smart they can play on both sides of the puck. They mean it's not going to be a physical defensive line, but they can be a smart defensive line.
Do you not like 27 there, or would you think it just when?
No, I like 27 there, except I might like him somewhere else. I want some balance in our lineup. Like I really liked Bennett and Luosterainen together. Like I think I was more excited about that than I was about 15 and 13 because I know those guys can play, but you don't know. But there's some size there. There's two centermen. They can be physical. So I think that was the thing I liked the most. We got to see another game, and we got to see that against some heavier competition and a little bit more pushback. These guys got, two good grinding lines, but two high-end offensive lines. So if you're not mentally right on it, you're going to see it in our end of the ice. So this is a real good test for us to take a look at these guys together again today.
Good to be able to do that experimenting now, early in season when you still have a lot of time.
Well, yeah, learn as much as you can, right? Like, and do it through adversity. So, not because everybody's healthy but nothing's working. You've got some guys injured and you've got some guys out of your lineup. So play with it now, see what you can, the pieces that work. I think we're if we see it tonight, we're pretty comfortable with the pieces on the first three lines for sure.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.
Thanks, Coach.